Close your eyes. Do you feel like you're alone here in the dark? How about now? How close could I get before you didn't feel alone anymore? 6 feet? 5 feet? 3, 2, 1? Maybe a text? How about now?
She was ready. Beth was ready.
I wasn't.
Me neither.
I was.
I was ready.
I needed something.
I needed anything.
I needed an out.
To get out.
Go play outside.
The house was in the
It was
middle.
Beth's house.
Beth's house. I think it was.
It was.
Her parents. It was her parents.
Whose?
Beth's.
Oh,
Right.
the house.
Our house.
No.
Beth's house.
Right.
Her parents had a lot of money.
Have. Have?
It doesn't matter.
Right.
So do mine.
What?
My parents have a lot of money.
Mine too.
So?
I'm just saying they do.
Sure.
Oh, I didn't mean
It's okay. I'm just saying.
It doesn't matter.
Beth's parents bought the house.
Our house.
Sure.
That is not my house.
Fine.
Can we? Everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
The house was in the middle of nowhere.
not really near anything else.
Middle of nowhere is more like Midwest,
Please?
Wyoming.
It was a couple miles to another house.
A lot of miles into town.
And town was small.
Not that we went into town.
No.
There was a farm down the road.
Up the road.
There was a farm up the road.
Big farm.
Nice folks.
We didn't talk to them.
We didn't go.
Only Beth went.
Eggs, milk, meat.
Every Sunday. Beth went every Sunday.
Eggs, milk, meat.
Fucking milk.
What?
Nothing.
And
Not yet.
Sometimes.
Cheese, apples, bread.
And one time.
Just one time.
Blueberry pie.
We'll get to the pie.
And the pig.
We'll get to the pig.
Okay.
And the tires and the bushes.
Not yet.
Right.
Okay.
The house was in the middle of nowhere.
Sort of.
Back up.
I grew up with Beth.
I'm Beth.
That's Beth.
Alice and Beth were friends.
Right.
I'm Alice.
That's Alice.
I'm Beth.
That's Beth.
Wait.
Slow down.
I'm Alice.
That's Alice.
Alice told me.
That's Hayden.
I'm Hayden. Alice told me about Beth.
That's Beth.
I'm Beth.
Beth's project
Experiment.
Idea.
Cult.
It wasn't
at
a
this
cult.
house.
This house in the middle of nowhere.
It sounded like camp.
Save the world camp.
Putting everything on pause and focusing on
ourselves for a while.
Figuring out what we wanted the
What do
world
you
to
want
be.
the world to be?
Together.
It sounded intense,
kind of impossible.
but also nice.
It sounded active. Like we could actually do something about something.
It sounded nice to live in the same place for a while.
Back up.
Beth and I grew up in the same neighborhood, down the street. Our houses were identical, but like mirrors of each other.
Oh, McMansions!
No, I don't.
It's okay.
We went to Catholic school together until Beth left.
I was homeschooled.
Beth was always in charge. She always had a plan, what we should do next. There was this old fire tower. We'd ride our bikes there and climb up, and Beth would say,
What do you want the world to be?
and I'd say, animals can talk, or all stairs or water slides. And she'd wave her arms to make it happen. She'd been talking about going all in on it, and she was ready. My parents were still livid that I'd gotten fired from. Mom and I were barely speaking. I told them I was leaving. I told them I didn't live there anymore. Mom tried hiding my phone with her chocolate stash, but I know where all her hiding places are.
Alice and I met through work.
Hayden and I were baristas.
I hate that word.
That's what we were. Until I got fired.
She got fired because she covered
We don't have to get into it.
Right. Well, I was still selling lattes to corporate bros who don't make eye contact with people in aprons. The girl who took over for Alice wouldn't stop venting about her toxic relationship. My sister had just married an asshole, and my other sister had just had her 4th kid. My brothers are idiots, and all my friends left Boston after graduation. I was smoking a lot of weed. My parents were concerned about me. The cable bill went up for no reason again. My apartment sucked. My roommates sucked. I was working closing shift when Alice texted me at work.
I'm going.
And I don't even remember deciding to do this, but I took a literal shot of vanilla swirl, like 4 pumps, and tossed it back and texted her, "Please take me with you."
I told Hayden, and Hayden told Jay.
That's Jay.
I'm Jay.
They dated in college, but now...
We didn't date.
Or hooked up.
They did?
I think so.
I don't think so.
Maybe.
It doesn't matter.
They drove together.
From Jay's place in San Francisco.
Whew, fancy.
I had this software job. Just the same fucking thing every day. Screen, screen, keyboard, screen. Judging all these babies and weddings. You know, every baby looks exactly the same. This kid I went to school with who used to... He had a baby. Post 1 million pictures every day. Most beautiful thing that's ever happened to me. Fuck you, dude. You're gonna keep that thing alive? I was staring at babies and spreadsheets, and I just wanted to get out and do something fucking weird. Then Hayden texted me.
It's a 3-day drive. San Francisco to Wisconsin.
A 3-day drive, but they weren't dating.
Right.
Jay and I played a game in the car. What do we want the world to be?
Everything's free.
And calories don't count.
We all got there on the same day.
It starts on summer solstice, end of June.
They pulled up.
In Jay's car?
He drove.
I'm the only one who drives my car.
They pulled up in Jay's car.
You could barely see the house.
There were a lot of trees.
And overgrown, like,
Brush.
yeah.
They got out of the car and Jay said,
This is a cult.
Jay can be a dick.
"It's not a cult."
It wasn't a cult.
Well, I mean,
If it's a cult, then why are you here?
I was so fucking bored.
We got out of the car and Marcy popped out of the bushes.
I'm Marcy.
That's Marcy.
Marcy was the only one I didn't know before.
What about Elle?
Oh. I didn't know Elle or Marcy.
I'm Elle.
Just wait.
Oh. Marcy popped out of the bushes.
Marcy popped out of the bushes and...
Hi.
Jesus!
Sorry.
I don't know where Marcy came from.
The bushes.
No, before that.
Me?
Yeah.
Home.
What?
I came from home.
Right, but...
But how did you know Beth?
Oh, I didn't.
What?
She asked if we picked our rooms.
Have you picked your rooms?
We hadn't even been inside.
So we said,
No.
and she said,
Oh, I'm Marcy.
Hayden.
Alice.
Jay.
Then Elle came down the road.
I'm Elle.
That's Elle.
Elle came strolling down the road.
This big, heavy bag.
All dusty.
Yup.
All dusty and sweaty.
Yup.
All dusty and sweaty and smiling.
Yup.
dusty and sweaty and smiling and whistling.
I actually can't whistle.
And he said,
I'm Elle.
Marcy.
Hayden.
Alice.
Jay,
Elle. I walked from the airport.
What?
He walked from the airport.
it was a 90-minute drive.
It took 4 days.
To walk.
4 days to walk. Yeah.
Jesus.
He liked to walk.
He slept on the ground.
I slept on the ground. Good for my back. I don't mind a walk. Shake off everything that's... I had a rough... California's on fire. I wasn't making rent anyway. Some stuff with my mom. So living in the same place for a year, that was going to be new for me. It had been a while since I wasn't... Oh, what the fuck is that word? That word's like moving around. Transient. It had been a while since I wasn't transient, but sleeping under the stars. You know, I think I really needed that before all this, a kind of centering, a kind of reset before the new thing. It was good. Yeah, around the middle of day 3 or so, I started to get a little woo, but, you know, I don't mind. I don't mind a walk.
We went inside.
The floors creaked.
I didn't see Beth.
Beth wasn't there.
Beth was there, you just didn't see her.
We picked rooms.
Mine's the one at the front of the house.
Mine's the one that faces the garden.
Mine's the one with the tree out the window.
Mine's the one with a door to a crawl space.
Mine's the one with not a real bed.
Mine's right
Mine's
above
right
above
above
the
the kitchen.
Mine was on the 3rd floor.
We were unpacking
In my
Jay's-
room at the front of the house.
and Jay said,
This is a cult.
we pulled his mattress onto the floor.
The bed frame was just creaky as fuck.
We put the bed frame in the closet. And Jay said,
This is a cult, and there's no service.
there's a landline in the kitchen. Then Elle was in the doorway.
It's 7.
We had a meeting at 7.
First night, first meeting.
Aren't you tired?
Who, me?
Because you walked.
Oh, no. Nope.
Oh, I would be. If I'd walked for 4 days.
Elle was weird.
It's 7:01.
We went downstairs.
We went downstairs.
Beth was there.
I'm Beth.
That's Beth.
Beth was standing in the living room, centered in front of the bay windows.
There were bay windows,
That was her spot.
the light coming in behind her.
And she said,
Hi.
And we all sat on the floor.
There were chairs right there, a couch, but we...
Sat on the floor.
I'm really excited that you're all here, and I think if we all lean in, we could come up with some really cool ideas. I'm going to lead a meditation every night to keep us on that path. We'll set goals, priorities, simple ideas to establish good habits and be better ourselves so we can carry what we learn out into the world. Maybe one day everyone will do this kind of community living to lock in ideals. Like, it could be as typical as higher education, like a secular, ethical education.
It sounded like Rumspringa.
The fuck is that word?
it's when Amish people try not being Amish.
And they get to decide who they want to be.
We were actually doing reverse Rumspringa because
We were like American Amish.
The Amish are American, you dingbat.
Oh my God. I'm an asshole.
An important piece is going to be removing context. To get to our core selves, we'll want to avoid external distraction and focus on this space in the present moment. So, phones in the bucket.
She had a bucket.
Phones in the bucket.
I told her not to start that way.
Alice said we would have to give
We
Beth
have to.
We knew before we came.
There's no service anyway.
I put my phone in the fucking bucket.
Elle,
I don't have one.
a phone.
I sold it.
You sold it?
Fine.
She put the bucket on a high shelf in the kitchen.
Like a cookie jar.
There's a landline in the kitchen.
Then she started the first breathing thing.
Close your eyes.
Breathing thing right away.
Let's start with breath.
I looked at Jay like, okay.
I told her not to start that way.
Follow my count.
That count will never leave my head.
In, 2, 3, 4.
Beth called it reflection.
It was really culty.
The first night we talked through the bylaws.
There were bylaws.
She called them bylaws.
They were rules.
We each got a copy.
We each got this giant fucking binder with the bylaws.
It was a packet, pages and pages on a spiral.
The bylaws laid out how everything was going to work in Beth's.
Experiment.
That's what she called it.
Stanford prison.
What?
Nothing.
What do you want the world to be?
Beth went through everything night 1.
She threw all this terminology at us right at the start.
You could tell she was
Excited.
Like she'd been waiting for this a long time.
waiting for a long time for a thing that was hers. A thing that she made.
We will meet every night for reflection at 7. We'll do a group meditative exercise every night at reflection. We'll read from our journal cards every night at reflection. We'll hear from anyone with a sticking point and resolve any conflicts. We'll hold individuals accountable as deemed appropriate by the enforcer.
There were a lot of rules.
Rules and harsh words for things.
Like enforcer.
The word enforcer.
I never liked that word.
Fuck that word.
Beth handed out our journal cards. They were these yellow index cards.
They were blue. They were blue.
We had to write on the cards everything we did.
I read, I slept, I cleaned.
Every day.
I ate, I walked.
I breathed.
I jerked off.
The ice broke fast.
No repeats. We don't need to know every time.
We didn't need to know every time, Jay.
Whoa, hey. They were anonymous.
We learned each other's handwriting.
It's not like I was the only one doing it.
We have a right to know what happens in shared space.
Because we were fostering honesty, trust.
Open communication.
Because we needed to know our own context.
But bathrooms are private spaces.
Thank God.
Bathrooms are private spaces.
But anywhere else.
It goes on a card.
We had to read them.
Out loud.
Anonymously.
At first,
We'd mix them all up.
I read.
I slept.
I cleaned.
I ate.
I walked.
I breathed.
And then Jay.
Jay can be a dick.
I'm Jay.
Jay said,
So, if I shit in the bathroom, I don't have to tell you. But if I shit in my room, I do have to tell you.
Don't be gross.
Jay can be a dick.
Beth said,
Yes. And please don't shit in your room.
The first night, I went to my room and sat on my bed, with my journal in my lap and Beth's voice in my head.
You are surrounded. We are surrounded. Surrounded by uncertainty and expectations. Surrounded by standards and norms and judgment. Surrounded by questions. Who are you? What good are you? Where do you fit in? What if you could remove everything? Remove context, find stillness, find self, find the blank slate version of you, and lean all the way in.
what if?
Alice,
What?
will you tell us about the house?
You're good at it.
Okay. The house was in the middle of nowhere. Sort of. We're all Wisconsin. I'd never been to Wisconsin. It was a few miles to the farm up the road, several miles into town. Big tangled trees and brush surrounded the property and lined the dirt road. It was a big old house with dark trim and railings, 6 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. The living room at the front of the house had bay windows. There was an open doorway in the living room that led down into the kitchen, with its broken red tiles and crooked wooden cabinets. 2 glass-pane doors led out to the backyard and Marcy's garden. It went on for acres, I think. I guess I don't know how big an acre is. The floors creaked, and the paint chipped, and the table wobbled, and nothing matched. But it still felt warm and safe. At first.
I knew where all the floor creaks were. 2 steps from the front door, creak. The top of the stairs, creak. The middle of the living room, creak. And every inch of Beth's room, 3rd floor, creak, creak, creak.
Let's establish priorities.
We all had, Beth called them priorities.
Like focus points.
Guidelines.
That we all had to follow.
What do you want the world to be?
What do you want to be in the world?
Clean?
Hayden's was to maintain the space.
Clean up your shit.
Priority H.
H for Hayden.
Mine was to spend time together. Community builders. Priority A.
A for Alice.
I guess active.
J's was to stay active. Basically to work out.
J for Jay. Oh, his name is also the letter I can...
Green.
L's was to
Live sustainably. Limit waste.
priority E. Marcy's was
Outside.
Marcy's was to spend time outside. Priority M.
M for Marcy.
And Beth's was to
Maintain the experiment. Follow the bylaws, use the priorities as guides. Don't leave the property.
Priority B.
B for Beth.
Don't leave the property.
Right.
It's not a cult.
I didn't say anything.
If you messed up.
If you actively broke a priority,
It was called breaking priority.
If you were destructive to the space.
if you let something go to waste,
If you left.
You could be held accountable.
Accountability was at the discretion of the enforcer.
Fuck that word.
We'll rotate each month in the role of enforcer.
What's the point?
The point is to hold each other and ourselves accountable. Consequences will help us establish good habits.
Do we have to do what the enforcer says?
you don't have to.
But you should.
Not really enforcing.
We asked if we could call it something else.
It's already in the bylaws.
Beth was the first enforcer. July.
Jay and I,
I'm Jay.
we know.
Oh.
Jay and I went for runs on cooler days. Our first day,
Where are you going?
A run?
Where?
Outside?
You can't leave the property, priority B.
B for
Beth.
Beth.
What would you tell us to do if we left?
20 push-ups?
10 Hail Marys.
Do we have a football?
Do you know where the property ends?
No.
I do.
L had a map of the property drawn on his arm.
Beth had a map in the bylaws, but mine is more detailed and closer to scale. We've got a couple acres.
How big is an acre?
We built cairns
The fuck is a cairn?
to mark the property.
The fuck is a cairn?
They showed us and we built more.
The rocks. A cairn is a stack of rocks.
Marcy started the garden.
She pulled me outside and started pointing what to plant, where to plant, how deep to dig, how much water.
Beets, broccoli, eggplant.
She found seeds in the shed.
There was a shed in the back with a drooping roof and old rusty tools. A shovel, hedge trimmers, a fucking scythe.
We need to start so we can harvest in the fall.
Elle was collecting wood, putting up little fences, fixing the shed. Marcy was always covered in dirt.
And she had a crush on Jay.
On Jay?
How do you know?
She gets all twitchy when he walks in the room.
I do, yeah.
And she told me.
I did, yeah.
Are you okay with that?
Me?
Yeah.
Because you drove out together.
And in college, you...
Slept on his couch because I hated my roommates.
Oh.
It doesn't matter anyway. Jay thinks
Marcy's weird.
I have a crush on whoever the enforcer is.
Wow.
One night, we were sitting in the living room in the middle of reflection.
All the lights were off.
The sun was just going down. A shadow crossed the living room wall.
There was a knock at the door.
Was that?
Knock at
Yeah.
the door.
Someone's at the door.
Elle started to go, but Beth
Put her hand out.
Beth put her hand out like, stop.
Like, don't.
Like, nobody move.
So we all froze and sat so quietly.
Elle said,
Why can't we just...
But Beth put up a finger like,
And we waited.
until we thought they'd left.
Beth went to the window.
Beth fucking army crawled to the window.
It was the farmer.
From up the road.
It was just the farmer from up the road.
They wanted to say hello.
They left us eggs.
And bread.
And pie.
Blueberry pie.
Do you think if they had pushed past the bushes to get to the window and looked in on us sitting in a circle, completely silent and unmoving in the dark, they would have stopped giving us eggs?
It felt like a game.
Pretending not to be there.
Pretending not to exist.
Pretending not to exist while they knocked on the door.
I didn't know they would visit.
Midwesterners,
Nice folks.
we should write a thank you note.
Now?
No, then. We should write a thank you note then.
But we didn't.
I know.
So we can't.
I know.
We ate blueberry pie.
Right there on the living room floor.
And Beth asked us,
What do you want to be in the world?
with pie on our faces, we said,
I want to stop being a fuck up.
I want to be less negative.
I want to be able to say what I want.
I want to make something brand new.
I want to feel safe.
I want to belong somewhere.
Elle had pie on his face and hands. He reached out, grabbing at us with sticky fingers.
Maybe I belong here!
We were laughing and eating pie and rolling around.
On the floor of the living room.
The next night, 2 of the cards said,
Read out loud, anonymously.
2 of the cards said, hooked
Hooked
up.
up.
A different kind of community building.
Right there on the living room floor.
How do you know?
Oh, I was still talking about the pie.
Can we start doing repeats?
Journal cards will no longer be anonymous.
That's when the cards went up on the wall.
No longer anonymous.
Beth was mad.
Beth was jealous.
Because she wasn't getting any.
Because she didn't know who.
Because it was a secret.
The cards went up on the wall by the kitchen.
Those were the first 2 to go up.
Hooked up and hooked up.
But she put them really far apart.
Room for Jesus.
It was very Scarlet Letter.
Bathrooms are private spaces.
If it happens in the bathroom,
It doesn't have to go on a card.
Close your eyes. Breathe. Listen. What's sticking? What's sticking in your head? Something from today? Something from yesterday? Something from home? Do you know why? Do you want to share? Is it a secret? Does it feel good to keep it? Does anybody want to share?
No.
No.
Oh.
Alice.
It's on my card.
Okay.
Alice broke a bylaw.
I couldn't sleep. I went downstairs. I got my phone. I tried to get service. I listened to music. I fell asleep. I put my phone back before anyone was awake.
I can't believe Alice was the first to go for the phones. She loves rules.
The cookie jar shelf.
My brain was swirling.
Who took the cookie from the cookie jar?
I needed my music to fall asleep.
What do we do now?
Well, Alice should be held accountable.
What do I do?
Do you want to know what I think you should do?
Yeah. You're the enforcer.
Let's all go upstairs.
We all went upstairs to Alice's room.
Alice's room with the slanted ceilings.
Beth had us move the dresser.
There was a door to a crawl space behind the dresser.
I think you should go in there. We remove phones to remove context. There's no context in there
Okay. For how long?
until we let you out.
What? Are you serious?
She doesn't have to.
I want to. I'm going to.
It's up to you.
I knew if I didn't, I would get my phone again.
Alice got in the crawl space.
We closed the door.
And moved the dresser in front of it.
Like an isolation tank, but with spiders.
Alice was laughing and smiling.
Alice said she was okay.
It's fine. It's easy.
She said,
Just like hide and seek.
Except
Hide and seek, and you're all really bad at it.
She got in.
Closed the door.
I closed my eyes the whole time. I pretended it was hide and seek. I was in my mom's closet. I was in the back seat of a car. I was in a playground tunnel.
Beth said she should stay in there a couple hours.
Beth said she should stay in there all night.
A broken elevator.
I don't remember how long.
An MRI machine.
It can't be all night.
Not all night.
Beth let her out.
Elle let her out.
I don't know how long she was in there.
I told Beth that was enough.
I told Elle to let her out.
I told them I was good.
She seemed fine after that.
Beth moved the phones after that. I don't know where she put them.
I didn't tell anyone I was claustrophobic. And I didn't have to, because I cried in the bathroom. And bathrooms are private spaces.
You should have told someone.
I should have told someone?
Fuck you, Elle.
Hey.
Nice.
Not yet.
Breathe. In, 2, 3, 4. Think about the priorities. Are you leaning in, or are you just getting by? Are you reaching for the positive, or are you just avoiding the negative? Are you being honest with the group? Are you being honest with yourself?
I memorized everyone's schedules. I always knew where to find them. They're on their spots. Hayden is in her room and tidying things. Alice is sitting on the front steps scribbling in her journal. Jay is running around the perimeter or pickling something in the kitchen. Beth is sitting at the little table under the wall of cards planning the next meditation. Marcy's in the garden or hiding under the mini weeping willow in the front yard.
Elle's in the backyard, building something.
I had insomnia and my brain was on shuffle. Locker combos, Greek alphabet, my brothers fighting. Dad throws the Christmas tree on the ground. Mom brings the puppy back to the shelter. I fail calc. I rear end a Mercedes. I almost kill my niece. Would you like a receipt? I steal money from the register. Alice covers for me. Alice gets fired.
August, Marcy's month.
One night, Alice and I were cleaning up after dinner.
Hayden and I were cleaning up after dinner,
Cafe flashbacks.
reminiscing about barista life.
I hate that word.
And Marcy burst through the front door and ran through the house.
Come outside.
We were like, oh my God,
Everybody outside.
what happened?
falling stars! So many!
Screaming and running through the house.
There's so many!
So we all went outside.
We all went outside to look at the stars with Marcy.
There were so many.
There's so many, you can't even count.
I had never seen them like that.
The, L! What were they called?
The Perseids.
Perseids.
Every year, we pass through the same dust cloud in our orbit path.
We do?
The Earth does.
Dust cloud.
Space trash.
We named them
The stars.
as they fell out of the sky,
We named them after people we knew.
after things we wanted.
After things we wanted the world to be.
Like, honest.
Tell us your secrets!
And clean,
Clean up your shit.
And green.
connected.
Community building.
You can't leave the property.
You can't leave the planet.
A. E. J. M. B. H.
And there were fireflies.
Lightning bugs.
The Perseids in our hands.
There was a landline in the kitchen.
Everyone called home from the landline in the kitchen.
No service, no cell phones.
But the landline in the kitchen.
An old school white push button phone on the wall with the curly cord dropping down to the floor.
Everyone could hear everything that happened in the kitchen. My room was right above the kitchen.
My room was
My
right
room's
above the
right
kitchen.
above the kitchen.
Everyone called.
Except Elle.
I didn't.
Elle didn't call.
Jay called and lied about where he was.
Hayden called and lied and cried about where she was.
Alice called, but not her parents.
Marcy called, but not her parents.
Beth called and told her parents everything.
Well,
Called and told her parents that everything was going.
Everything is going great.
No matter what.
Everything is going great.
Who did you call?
My friends. I have a couple. My sister once.
Not home?
I was living with my aunt before. She died.
Oh.
My dad's an angry person. We don't know where Mom is.
Oh.
If you weren't here, I'd call you.
Thanks.
Who aren't you calling?
My mom. Just my mom.
Elle was.
Sorry.
Elle was
Oh my God.
Elle was.
I'm okay.
Elle was
pacing
pacing
in the kitchen.
The next day, Elle disappeared.
And he came back with a pig.
Elle bought a pig.
He what?
He'd been building a pen.
The little fences.
I bought a pig.
Just strolled down the road with her on a lead.
Lead?
Leash. Rope?
Lead.
Smiling and whistling
I actually can't whistle.
to lighten things up.
You think Elle bought a pig to lighten things up?
Didn't he?
Maybe.
Didn't it?
Yeah,
For a while.
Until he decided to.
not yet.
Right.
Where did you get that?
Get what?
The pig.
From the farm up the road.
You left the property.
Only to go to the farm up the road.
Why?
To get the pig.
We didn't agree to this.
I went to say thank you for the pie. Nice folks.
You shouldn't have gone.
I went to say hi and thanks. They'd wondered if Beth was eating all those eggs by herself. Nice folks. I thought I'd get us a chicken or a goat.
You got
or
a
duck.
pig.
She was white.
Well, there was a sign that said pig, so that's what I got.
She was white with black spots.
Pink with brown spots.
Brown with a white stripe down her middle.
I paid for her myself with the money from my phone.
What's it for?
Meat.
No.
Maybe
What?
we can feed her food scraps. Manure for the garden. Quicker than compost.
She's beautiful.
You broke priority.
Priority B.
Be for Beth.
So hold me accountable.
August, Marcy's month.
I don't want to.
You sure?
I think you did a good thing.
I think the pig will hold you accountable.
You're gonna keep that thing alive?
I'm gonna hold myself accountable. I'll spend the night out there with her. Keep her company until she gets settled.
And he did.
In the mud.
The next morning, he came through the kitchen.
Mud on the cracked red tiles.
We asked how it was.
He said,
We bonded.
when we got bored, we'd go stare at the pig.
It was hard to get bored when we had Old Major.
We never agreed on her name.
Watch her do pig stuff,
Pig stuff.
which isn't a lot.
Juniper.
We never agreed on her name.
Junie for short.
We fed her our scraps and fertilized the garden.
We took her on walks.
We ate dinner outside
Together,
with her.
Her little face.
she trusted us.
And before we went in, we all pet her goodnight. Good night, Junie.
Good night, Charlotte.
Good night, Major.
Good night, Jasper.
Good night.
We never agreed on a name.
Do you think everyone's having a good time?
What?
Do you think everyone's having a good time?
I think so. For now.
I know that's not the point, but it's a nice side effect.
You should let go.
What do you mean?
You always want to control it. Just let it happen.
I have a sticking point.
Sticking points were
Sticking points were like,
Something on your mind.
Something you couldn't let go.
something that needed to be addressed.
We'll hear from anyone with a sticking point at reflection.
Can we wipe the pee off the toilet?
Can we catch and release the spiders instead of killing them?
Can we have a rotating sweeping
can we
schedule?
have a limit on the number of sticking points per meeting?
I have a sticking point.
Okay.
Marcy's been playing with her shadow.
Okay.
It's weird.
Marcy's weird.
Don't be a dick.
You said it.
I don't mind.
Why is that a sticking point?
I didn't know what to do.
Do?
It was weird.
This is dumb.
I can teach you.
Teach me what?
Shadow dancing.
Oh,
You might like it. Shadow play.
sounds like a sex thing.
Ew, Hayden.
How would you have sex
It's
with
been
a
helping
shadow?
me stay present. Try it.
I'm not doing that.
Why?
I'm not fucking doing that!
It's okay.
It's not really.
He doesn't want to.
But it's Marcy's month, and he's being a dick.
I didn't like being the enforcer.
It's okay.
He was so angry about it.
I didn't mean
Why were you so angry about it?
I don't know.
I didn't like my month.
I said I would do it.
It was too late.
Marcy was crying. Priority D. Don't be a dick.
Marcy, should we start again?
No.
She wrote it on a yellow card.
Swoopy scribbles.
She read it out loud.
I cried because Jay was a dick. I left reflection early, and I will hold myself accountable.
Put it on the wall.
She went upstairs.
She didn't even say goodnight to Charlotte.
The pig?
Yeah. Charlotte.
Oh.
Anything else from you?
I'm sorry. I don't know why.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Do you want to do shadows together?
it's okay.
My shadow's touching your shadow.
This lighting, I don't. It's dark. Her edges are so clean and sharp. I don't feel like that. Do you feel like that?
No.
Growing up, we had a fireplace. And I'd turn off all the lights and dance in the flicker. Or in the summertime, out on the porch, screens and crickets and a couple candles, and my sister, and our shadows flickering away. I didn't bring a candle.
We can find you a candle.
Elle was.
Sorry.
Elle was.
Oh my God.
Elle was
I'm okay.
Elle was pacing in the kitchen.
We ate together every night.
6 people at the wobbly table.
The wobbly drop leaf table.
We played football in the front yard.
the red plastic mixing bowl from the kitchen.
I landed on it. It broke.
Little specks of red in the spiky grass.
Marcy made the pieces into a mosaic for the living room.
We built forts.
We told stories.
We climbed trees.
Drawing contests.
Workout classes.
Hide and seek.
Elle and Marcy were playing with their shadows.
I found you a candle.
I remember.
They were in her room after reflection, playing with their shadows.
I've just been listening to everyone's voices carry when they use the landline. The way sound travels in this house, especially in the kitchen. My room's right above the kitchen. Did you know that Jay and Hayden both told their parents they're on a service trip? Alice usually laughs a lot on her calls. I thought I heard Hayden crying yesterday. It seems like Beth is the only one whose parents actually know where she is, what she's doing. Every time she says, "Things are going really well. Okay. I love you. Bye."
Are you gonna call your mom?
No,
Why?
I don't.
Why?
I said we had a fight, so.
About what? You don't have to tell me if you don't.
No, she was giving me shit for not having things figured out, for being transient in everything. She wants grandkids, babies. I was like, the world is fucking melting and you want me to propagate? You want me to produce more sad, useless creatures laying waste to everything around them? Because I'm not doing that, Mom, I'm not. I said, having children is the worst thing we can do with our time on Earth. And she said, having you is the worst thing I ever did. And I said, yeah, Environmentally. Environmentally.
Oh,
I should call her. Then. I should call her then.
but you didn't.
So I can't.
September.
Alice's month.
Hayden's card.
S for Slippery Slope September.
The last heat wave of the summer.
It was fucking hot.
For late September.
Global warming's a bitch.
I don't like that word.
Hayden read her cards out loud.
Do we have to do this part?
Just keep going.
I couldn't sleep. I made a snack.
Eggs and raw goat milk from the farm up the road.
Then I looked for my phone, but I don't know where they are. I don't know where the fuck Beth put the phones. I made a mess of the pantry. I broke a locked drawer open. I snuck into Beth's room while she was sleeping. Then I went out and crossed the property line because I was pissed off. I stepped all over the cabbages and I tried to set Charlotte free. Opened her gate, but she was pretty much asleep, so she didn't go anywhere. I fell asleep on the couch and left all the food on the counter. So that's like all the priorities and a bylaw? I don't know.
Thanks for being honest.
Why did you do that?
Mix things up. I would like to be held accountable.
Alice's month.
So,
Alice said,
I,
Offer an accountability.
elevator, MRI.
So Alice told me to.
You told me to tell
It was your month.
You didn't have to do any of it.
Fine. I told Alice to hold me accountable.
Whatever you think would be...
Just tell me what to fucking do.
Don't... You can't cook at night anymore. You can't be down.
That's not enough.
Well, I don't know.
I need bigger or I'm not gonna do better. I'm not gonna learn. Lean in, Alice. If not for this, then for every time you've covered for me.
I didn't do that so I can...
I'm tired of my own bullshit.
Then drink it. Drink the milk.
That's it.
All of it.
So I did.
it was a gallon.
Raw, unpasteurized goat milk sitting out.
An old glass jug from the farm up the road.
it'd only been one night.
But it was fucking hot.
A little sour, but it was a gallon and goat's milk already sucks.
She was staring at Alice the whole time.
The rest of us just...
Stood there.
Then Hayden got sick
She threw up.
Back into the jug.
and kept drinking.
Alice.
What the fuck? Hayden, stop!
Okay.
Alice grabbed the jug from her.
She dropped it.
It shattered.
Milk all over the cracked red tiles.
I went upstairs to brush my teeth. I don't really drink milk anymore.
I followed Hayden upstairs.
Jay was yelling.
Jay was mad.
I started throwing stuff in
He
bags.
started packing.
Jay wanted to leave.
It was fucked.
We could all hear him.
It was fucked what she made you do.
What she decided to do.
I decided to do it.
Everyone heard him say, "Get in the car."
Get in the car!
I decided to stay.
We don't have to stay.
If I was gonna go, I would have done it before.
Why did you do that? And she just said,
Go without me. Or go to bed.
we should leave.
Now?
No. Then.
But we didn't. So we can't.
And then they couldn't.
What the fuck?!
The next morning,
Was it the next morning?
It had to be.
It had to be.
We'd all heard Jay say it.
We'd all heard Jay say he wanted to leave.
Next morning?
it had to be.
All 4 tires on his car were flat.
Slashed.
What the fuck?!
And the spare.
All 5 tires were slashed.
What the fuck?!
Nobody said anything.
Who fucking did it?!
Alice's month.
Nobody admitted to it.
Not even on the index card.
Nobody said.
Jay was mad.
He looked at all of us and said,
My month is next.
Jay's month was next.
It's okay, everyone.
"It's not okay." Beth.
September.
September was Alice.
October was Jay.
November was Elle.
October was Jay.
Jay was mean in October.
It was his month as enforcer.
Fuck that word.
We couldn't be late to reflection.
Alice was late to reflection.
He thought Alice slashed his tires.
Alice was late to reflection.
I walked down the stairs at 7:03.
You're late.
Sorry.
Tear up your journal.
No,
Then give it to me.
I don't want to.
It's my month.
No!
Accountability, Alice. Tear up your journal.
And I'm rejecting that accountability. I'll be on time tomorrow.
Don't you want to lean in, Alice? Isn't that what we're doing here?
Jay thought Alice slashed his tires.
No one was sleeping.
All the plants in Marcy's room were dying and dry.
Dry leaves and twigs drifting down the hall.
Jay told Marcy to clean it up.
Marcy said,
No,
It's my month.
I don't have to.
Jay went outside.
and he got the rusty hedge trimmers from the shed
Giant rusty scissors.
and attacked Marcy's hiding place.
The mini weeping willow in the front yard.
It grew like a dome.
Marcy's hiding place. He started hacking at it. The rusty trimmers. Marcy was screaming at him, so I ran
yelled.
over and. Stop!
Wait.
Jay turned and had the trimmers right at Elle's neck.
Fuck!
Whoa, dude, I didn't mean...
Give them to me.
Jay did.
Marcy grabbed an armful of branches and ran inside, up the stairs.
Those don't belong in the house.
They're mine.
Those don't belong in the house!
Do not yell at me!
Leave her alone!
Then Marcy screamed.
So loud and long. I've never heard anyone scream like that. Jay walked away. Marcy put the branches in front of her doorway, in a semicircle, like a force field. And she shut the door in Elle's face.
Jay left everyone alone after that.
He was quiet.
Why did you do that?
I can be a dick.
Not long after the trimmers, Marcy and I
I don't want to.
it's okay.
Do you want me to? Marcy and Elle were out back, cleaning Major's pen,
Junie,
cleaning Junie's pen. It was November, cold and gray. Elle said,
Are you okay?
Marcy said, yeah. Elle said.
Are we still friends?
Marcy didn't say anything. Elle said,
I'm sorry about Jay. I was just trying to help. Maybe I got carried away.
Marcy said, Jay's like my dad. Elle said.
Do you want to leave? We don't have to stay here.
Marcy said, I don't know where to go. Elle said.
We can find somewhere. Walk until we find somewhere, or we can be transient.
Marcy said,
I don't think that's a good idea.
Why?
You're like my dad, too.
I thought about leaving. Driving away with my torn up tires, slapping the dirt until I found an auto shop. Buying a new phone and heading back to California. But I was staring at the wall of cards and thinking of spreadsheets. Spreadsheets and keyboards and dual curved monitors in my ergonomic chair. The same shit every day, every night, every weekend. And I didn't want to leave without Hayden, but I didn't want to go back to that view. I wanted to do one last thing. One last weird, stupid thing before the system swallowed me whole. And it wasn't done. The thing wasn't done. So I pulled my bed frame out of the closet, greased it so it stopped squeaking, dropped my mattress down on top of it. Then Alice was in my doorway, just staring at me.
He stared back.
For too long. Until she said,
"You're staying."
"Yeah." "Did you slash my tires?"
Only one. Elle was.
Sorry.
Elle was.
Oh my god.
Elle was.
I'm okay.
Elle
was
pacing
pacing
in the kitchen.
And everything was apart.
The legs were off the wobbly table.
The doors were off the crooked cabinets.
The windows were open.
It was November.
Elle's month.
E for Elle.
And everything was wet.
And cold.
And it smelled like
Smelled like.
chemicals.
The cleaner I found under the sink. I think it's old. I think it's really old.
I found him and
I went down there and
I saw him and.
I came in from the garden.
I went into the kitchen.
what are you doing?
Doing?
It's my month. I was holding myself. I was trying to make it nice.
You should call your mom.
And then. Elle killed the pig.
He what?
Elle's covered in blood.
There's blood everywhere.
I didn't do a very. I've never done that before.
blood on the cracked red tie.
I heard her scream in the middle of the night.
Why?
Why did he do that?
Why did you do that?
She wasn't eating.
What?
She wasn't sleeping.
What?
I'll clean it up. The manure wasn't as efficient as I thought. It was actually taking more to feed her than what we had. She wasn't happy here. I shouldn't have brought her here. Anyway, there's pork. There's pork in the freezer.
I never ate any.
I didn't want any.
It was good.
We hadn't had pork in a while.
Marcy was really upset.
It was December.
Hayden's month.
The end of December. I wasn't offering accountabilities. There had been too much. It never snowed. Just cold, slushy rain. And dark. So early in the day.
The winter solstice.
Elle had a sticking point.
I don't think what we're doing means anything. All these words, priorities, bylaws, and sticking points and enforcers, and just a touch of brainwashing. We locked Alice in a closet. Jay's car, Marcy's hiding spot, Hayden drank her own vom. We can't leave. We can't say hi to the nice folks at the farm up the road. We're just following the fucking rules. Removing context. Leaning in. Going all the way. Beth, when you make a call from the landline in the kitchen, they answer, right? When you call, they pick up the phone, right? Alice, Hayden, they answer, right? Jay, they know you're gonna call. They're waiting for your name on that screen so they can... Marcy? What are we doing? What are we doing? Do you know? Do you know, Beth? Or are you just pulling all of this out of your ass? Does any of it actually matter to you?
He said it at reflection.
No, he didn't.
He did, that last night.
I don't like this part.
Almost done.
He said it in the kitchen with his hands covered in pig's blood.
He said it at reflection and went for a walk with Marcy.
We went for a walk.
That's not how it happened.
It doesn't matter.
It's cold.
I wrote it down.
Then you wrote it down wrong.
Doesn't matter.
Orion was out.
It was at reflection. Beth was leading the breathing count.
Is it working for you? Are you finding yourselves? Because I have determined myself to be unfindable. What if you are your own context? The only way to remove it is to cease to exist. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Am I bothering you? Do you have a sticking point?
In 2, 3, 4.
Only way
Hold.
to remove context is to
3,
cease to exist.
4, 5.
He said it in the kitchen.
Out. 2,
That's not how it happened.
4,
It doesn't matter.
6, 7,
Beth.
8.
Stop.
I don't want to do this part.
Elle came to reflection with a sticking point and went off about how the experiment wasn't working.
Out.
He still had blood under his fingernails.
Out.
We were all sitting on the floor and Elle was pacing back and forth.
Elle was pacing in the
Creaking.
kitchen.
Is it working for you?
It doesn't matter.
Are you finding yourselves? He said it over and over. I am unfindable. I am unfindable. Beth tried to start breath work, but he refused to do
Out.
it.
In.
Beth closed her eyes and counted
In.
from her spot in front of the bay windows. In,
Can't call someone
2,
who doesn't exist.
3, 4.
Removing
Elle wasn't
context.
listening. He was pacing and
Removing
pointing at her.
context.
You're
He
not
said
in
it in the
charge.
kitchen.
It doesn't matter!
Counting too. And Marcy
it
tried to
working?
follow Beth. Like if
I
she
don't
did,
want
maybe we
to.
all would.
That's not
Maybe
how it
Elle would.
happened.
But
It
the
doesn't
count got away
matter.
from her, and she started
Marcy,
fighting
are you
kidding me? Is it
Elle,
working?
you
Stop.
walk away. You can't touch her. It doesn't
I
matter.
tried to get Beth to stop, and
Beth,
I was
stop.
frozen.
2,
And then Elle
Elle,
started
stop!
counting.
Marcy,
4,
3,
It doesn't.
4.
5,
It doesn't
3.
matter.
That's not how it happened.
It doesn't matter.
7,
Yes, it is. I wrote it down.
In.
Marcy, stop. Marcy.
Out.
happened.
In.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it is. I wrote it
What?
down.
It doesn't
Brett
matter.
said time.
Out. In.
15,
In. Out.
16,
Marcy. Marcy.
17,
Marcy,
shut up,
Marcy,
Beth.
Marcy, it's okay.
Out.
19,
In. Out.
20,
Marcy.
21,
this.
22,
Marcy, it's okay.
23, 24, 25, 26, 27. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out.
And then he was gone.
What if?
What if you are your own context? And the only way
The only way.
The only way to remove it is to cease to
Cease to exist.
So he did.
Asshole!
We should tell him we want him to stay.
But we didn't.
So we can't.
Should we? Do we keep going?
Almost done.
Once Elle was gone, I broke priority E. Bathrooms are the only private spaces. I lit my candle. I watched my shadow flicker on the tiles. It made me think of porch screens, of crickets. Were there crickets? I turned the shower on. The boiler creaked like the floor in Beth's room, like the middle of the living room. I got in wearing all my clothes, shoes. There's dirt under my fingernails. I moved the knob all the way, wasting water, wasting heat. Priority E. I held my hands up to get under my nails. And I tried to get so hot that I could flicker. I tried to get so hot that I could turn to steam and disappear like he did. That I could swirl and drift away. But I watched the steam catch the walls and run in drips down the straight lines, the grout and the mildew. And I was alone in my little box. And I opened my mouth as wide as it went.
We asked Beth where the phones were, but she was catatonic. So we left.
Jay and I left.
Tires slapping the dirt.
Back to whatever. Back to our context.
Marcy left. She didn't tell me, she just
Tried to become steam.
left. Her swoopy scribbles on an index card.
I walked to the airport.
I was frozen. Beth was frozen. The house was so quiet, haunted. The floors creaked. I couldn't sleep. I climbed into the crawl space. Mom's closet, elevator, MRI. I stretched my feet out into the corners and kicked something. Hollow thunk. The bucket of phones. Beth was making breakfast. Eggs, milk, meat. The pork from the freezer. Bare feet on the red cracked tiles. In December.
Do you want some?
Everyone's gone.
Do you want some breakfast?
I want to go home. We should go home.
What about your mom? You said
She said I can always come home.
it was supposed to be all here.
I know.
We didn't even get halfway.
I know.
I don't know what... It was working, right, for a while. Hayden was taking responsibility and you stopped worrying about what people wanted and Jay was figuring out how... And I was letting go. I was letting go of control like you told me. I was getting to be okay with not knowing what happened, but I don't know what happened. I used to. I used to know what we were doing, but now I don't know what this is.
It's okay, Beth.
It's not okay. We're just supposed to go back like nothing.
I called my mom. We left that day. We left it as it was. The pan on the stove, yellow cards on the wall, Marcy's room full of bark and branches, the phone bucket on the cracked red tiles of the kitchen floor, the garden, the pig pen, the pork in the freezer, the milk in the fridge. And then we were home.
Beth,
What?
can we do a, can you lead a breathing thing?
Yeah. Close your eyes. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold.